Welcome to the show. We in the mix with B2 and Markeith, straight out of Virginia. And this is the platform for the people.
Yes, sir. And we're excited about this opportunity to come together, collaborate, and share some information, resources about our great city and how we're going to keep moving forward.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. We got the councilman and the community warrior in the building.
The line kept us in track. And man, we like I know, I was looking at you, not to say you that much older than me, but I was looking up at you guys and wanting to ball like you guys on the court. And the coaches that we had, man, without a doubt, we would not be standing the way we standing if it hadn't been for those lessons we learned on the court, on the field.
Right.
You learn, you have a vision, you have a goal, and then it's about grinding. And for me, that was what I learned from my grind on the court and on the football field. And like you said, man, it worked. We go to college for free.
What college was that?
East Carolina University.
All right, you got to shout them out. Come on.
Yeah, East Carolina University, played Division I football, went all over the country playing.
We got a very special guest coming on today. You want to introduce him?
Oh, yeah. We got one of the powerful brothers here, coming native son out of Newport News, man.
Yes, sir.
He's doing great things, not just in Newport News. He's been doing great things all over the country through his travels. And like I said, we are excited that he's one of our own. A graduate of Denby High School, student athlete on the basketball court. I heard they called him Little Rajon Rondo while he was on the basketball court. A football star with the Howard University. Became a 3-time Black College All-American, set numerous team records, went on to become drafted by the Indianapolis Colts, and is a Super Bowl champion. I like he has
in his rookie year.
Rookie year. This is young man who went from not knowing if he was going to play college football at the highest level to being a graduate from Denby High School to a Super Bowl champion.
Hey, who we talking about?
Talking about Mr. Antoine Bethea.
Antoine Bethea
with us today.
Yes.
We are excited about all he's doing and what he's going to share with us on tonight.
No doubt.
Podcast with B2.
Welcome to the show.
We're excited about our first guest. That makes you even.
Yes.
We were trying to figure out why we started brainstorming ideas back in March, April.
Right.
We said we want a powerful first guest. You it, brother. We wanted you. We're glad you could join us today.
Yeah, man. You're now in the mix.
I appreciate y'all, man. Definitely, I appreciate it, man. Definitely two brothers that I think myself and a lot of my peers look up to. Y'all do a lot in the community. I've been doing it for a while, man. So definitely a blessing, man. And I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And we just recently had a moment on July 7th where you put your stake in the ground. You put a landmark here in Denby.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You want to tell the people what happened?
Yeah, man. You just wanted to do something for the city, man. Give back to the city, something that, we all can just go. We can touch, we can see it with our own eyes, man. So, the Bethea Family Foundation donated a basketball court to the city, man. And it's crazy being that would be the first outdoor court with lighting, So, people, the community, we can go out there, we can have fun after it get dark, man. But also have the youth and the community be able to go to a place where they can just enjoy themselves, man. So for me, hopefully it's first of many. Hopefully we can go around the city and we can refurbish some basketball courts, man, and make some moves.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I told Pop when I first heard about it, I said, man, hey, you tell him, I said, thank you for something we've been talking about for over 30 years. Because people don't know, from the time that we were younger here in the 90s, or even the late 80s, early 90s, we always were saying we just don't have enough courts to go to. We would go to other cities in order to be able to play, but we didn't have anything where people wanted to come here and ball with us. We didn't have that kind of spot that we could go back to. And then it took this long before it actually happened. But, we super proud of that fact, man. I want to jump right into this, man. I read your book, and for those that don't know, Antoine Bethea's what would
Bet
you
on
call
yourself.
this? Your biography or?
Nah, I hate. I don't want to call it a biography,
Yes,
man.
I
I would
would
say
say
it's like
that. I would say a
a
excerpt.
motivational, inspirational. Yeah,
It's a part of your life, though. Bet on yourself, man. I love the book, and that's no joke. I'm not saying that just to be saying it, because it's 103 pages, 103, 108 pages, something like that. It's a fast read, but at the same time, I learned a lot about you, from reading the book. And the biggest thing that I took out of it, the reason I feel like that you was as successful as you are now, is you weren't afraid to communicate with people even at a young age. You was like, you was a quiet storm. Like you say, you might have held your tongue more than you said something, but when you did say something, it carried more weight. Yeah. And I can understand that, and I think it was certain times that I saw throughout the book that if not for that part right there, that one part right there, that one moment where you said something, you spoke up for yourself, then things could have went a whole nother direction. So, let's talk about it, man. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, man, about your family and, how you became who you are.
Man, mom and dad, still married, older brother, I'm the youngest of two. Mom and dad grew up humble beginnings in a small town, Lakeview, South Carolina, man. And, really tip my hat off to them, man. Just knowing their story and what they had to go through, what they had to fight through, shoot. And it's crazy that, just the times that we living in today, that my mother, my father went to a segregated high school, you know what I'm saying? So, so again, just their history and, my dad being a big time, football, basketball player in his own right, but the birth of my older brother, he had to make ends meet. He had to do what was right for his family. So, he was went to enlisted into the Army, man. From there, took him to Columbia, South Carolina, to Georgia, where I was born. From there, to Germany, and then 87, man, we made our way to Newport News, Virginia. Made our way to Newport News.
87. That was the year I was. We were still popping and breaking around 87. Yeah.
So from there, man, like I said, I got say in my book, and I tell everybody, man, I wasn't born in Newport News, but I was definitely raised in Newport News. I think Newport News made me. I can even speak on my brother as well. Kind of made us unto the people that we are today. Just I was, and I say this about Newport News, I would say the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever the case may be. I mean? I think, and I think y'all can speak for as well. I think that we embody that. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen a lot growing up in Newport News. We've seen people go down different paths, man. And again, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But
no doubt. But you was talking about your mother and your father and some things that they had gone through. And without saying too much, your mom went through a lot health-wise early on that you had to witness as a young kid, and talk about how that affected you and how that changed your mindset. Because sometimes for me, I think early trauma, that shift of that emotion when you're young, it take away from the childhood part, and sometimes you never get it back. You start to see things a little different, and you never can see it like a child again. So talk about how that moment affected you.
That's real, man. And really just to jump on it, man. My mom, she had a brain tumor. She had a brain tumor in 90 and 94. So when the first inclination of her possibly having a brain tumor, man, I remember like it was yesterday. She just dyed her hair, but when she dyed it, her face blew up, eyes swole shut, like everything. It was weird, and it was scary to me, being that my brother was off at college and my dad was in Egypt at the time. So it was just me and Mom Duke. So it was one of them things where go to the doctor, try to find out what's going on, being misdiagnosed, whatever the case may be, but finally getting to that point where she did have a brain tumor, and it was just one of them scary moments. And like you said, as a child, it's like, not my mom, not my mom, just really finding out the severity of what the situation she was in and the type of health she was in. And at the same time, when she found out that she had a brain tumor, she found out she had a small brain aneurysm at the same time. So it was one of those.
And you were how old?
I was at this time I was 10 years old.
10 years old, yeah.
10 years old, you know, so that was eye opening, like you said, at an early age. And around this time, man, it was just a lot of things that was going on in our family's lives. My dad's oldest brother, he had just got murdered not too long ago. Before finding out that news, man. So it was just
your dad's oldest brother, right?
Yeah.
I remember reading that. Yeah.
Now, with all that you sharing with us and the experiences with your mom, and you know, you talk about the traumatic experiences that you went through, that's dealing with that, knowing the strongest person in your life is going through such health conditions. It was something you said in the book. You talked about a phrase you got from Coach Dungy. You said, "No excuses, no explanations."
Yeah.
And even you saying that prior to you sharing the story now, but you heard that phrase when you were in the NFL. But what your mom went through and your family went through, that's pretty much the same thing. No excuses, no explanation. Because she, from what I read in the book, she made sure you were gonna stay on the right path. Your dad made sure you stay on the right path. I like the story you share about when you got mad at the basketball game and Coach Perry was cussing you out. You ran out the court, you threw your stuff and left out the court, and it was your mom that got you back on track to get you back in the right frame of mind in which you got to get back out there and finish up. What does that? Explain to us what no excuses, no explanations mean to Antoine Bethea.
Man, and you kind of hit it right on the head where it wasn't until 2006 until we had a term for it or a phrase for it, no excuses, no explanations. But like you said, kind of been living it my whole life, and really no excuses, no explanations is, at the end of the day, I would say a lot of people in this world are smart people. They're smart. Whether they believe it or not, they're smart. You know what I'm saying? They know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? So when we do wrong, a lot of times we like to try to make excuses for ourselves. But when Coach Dungy kind of put it into that phrase where, okay, we all grown men here. We all know we coming in here, we got a job to do. And we all know our job. So it shouldn't be no excuses and should be no explanations. We're human. We're gonna do something that's wrong. We're gonna do something that we wasn't supposed to do. But as human beings, we just got to take that on the chin, learn from it, and move forward. So, again, like you said, like earlier in life, just dealing with some of these things that our family was going through, it was one of them things that we didn't want to go through, but that's life. We didn't make any excuses as far as, why my mom or why did this happen. It's like, we're going to come together. We're going to become stronger as a family. Obviously, faith in our household and keep it pushing.
That's why I like your book that you wrote, man, because it's so powerful in the fact that, most guys you hear about, they top recruits and coming out of high school, going to the biggest colleges, playing on the biggest stage. But with everything you've been through, you embody that. You embody that no excuses, no explanation. You weren't highly recruited. And even your freshman year at Howard, you weren't on scholarship. Some people don't even know that. You had to earn your scholarship when you were out there in the football field. And after that, your sophomore year, then you went on and excelled. And let's not forget, you graduated with a criminal justice degree. And then you went on a late draft pick. You thought you were going to be a higher draft pick, you got a late draft pick, and ended up putting you in the best position to win a Super Bowl your rookie year. So
you know what though? Let's back it back to high school and the moment, like you said, when he had the altercation with where he was being blamed for losing, for the cause of losing the game, and it was one of the moments where you were right, like I'm gonna quit. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Now your mother could have been like, all right, baby, that's it, but instead she didn't. And then the coach that walked up to you, what did that coach say to you?
So it was crazy. It was Coach Barry. He was like, "Look, man, I heard what was said in the locker room, but he was like, you can regret this decision if you go through with it. You know what I'm saying?" He was like, take your time, think on it. If that's what you decide to do, then cool. But he was like, you can regret this decision if you go through, as far as when I made that. Well, I made a comment saying that I was gonna quit. So
Right. And I don't want to tell too much of the book, but this next moment right here to me was a pivotal point. And I do want you to say this because you took what he said to heart, and then you went back and you actually had, because the coach was actually your teacher. So you knew you had to see him.
So I had to see him every day. I had to see him every day.
So now you get back to class, and then y'all have a conversation. Now, this is to me the most important part of the beginning of your story, because the whole ending could have been changed from this moment. You could have been the kid that held that grudge, that said, I'm not going to have a conversation with him. I'm done, and walked out. And then that would have been it. But instead you didn't. So that moment, what made you decide to really sit and listen to him one more time, to have that conversation, to hash it out?
Because at the end of the day, man, I feel as though Coach was and is a good dude. We have a great relationship to this day. So I just didn't want, well, a lot of times, 16, 17-year-old, we could let one instance determine, a future. We just talking about relationships right now. So in my mind, I didn't want to do that. But then again, just being real, I had to see him every day. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't one of them things where, I wasn't going to skip class every day just because I was trying to, so I don't see him. So like in my eyes, I was like, man, the least I can do is at least sit down, talk with him, and see where he's coming from. You know what I mean? At that in that night, we just lost. I'm like, well, damn, like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm a captain of the team. I'm rocking. I'm playing well, and we lose. I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? And it was just like, and granted, being a leader of the team or whatever the case may be, not really realizing it at that time. But he was looking more. He was looking to get more out of myself, out of his point guard.
No doubt.
Us having that sit down, man, that really kind of helped me see where he was coming from.
No doubt. I just wanted to make that point that, again, I thought your communication skills are a big part of why you're successful now, because you took a moment and you spoke from there. Then we moved on to college, and then you had some situations, like you said, you went on to college, you didn't have a scholarship on the table, and you had to work your way on the team. Your parents actually had to foot the bill for your first year, and you had to play for that scholarship the second year. And each year as you progressed, there was always something in front of you to humble you, to put you back to ground zero. Now, talk about that dream killer situation where the scout came in and basically told you never going to the NFL.
Man, that was one of the realest moments, man. It was another eye opener for me. Like, everybody don't look at you the same. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, I felt as though I was probably one of the top defenders or players in 1AA. That's what we called it at the time. And a brother came in, and I think that was another kind of factor that kind of hurt me a little more. Whereas it was the brother coming to a HBCU looking, scouting or whatever the case may be, and he just flat out told me, he happened to pick one of the games that I didn't play the best, but like you say, he just told me what I couldn't do. I wasn't going to be able to play in the league. I was too slow. I was too fast. I was too slow. I wasn't big enough.
Right.
Our competition level wasn't up to par. So he was just killing me, man. And it was just one of them things where I was just like, okay, well, if this guy was saying this and he's seeing this on film, or the other 31 scouts or teams that's coming here, are they thinking the same thing? And it was just one of them, one of those things, man. It hurt me for a second.
And I'll never forget. I wish that scout would have been at that game when you played here against Hampton University. I'll never forget. I went to that game, and we didn't know each other like we know each other now, but like every time Hampton ran a play, all I heard, Antoine Bethea on the tackle. Antoine, it was like you had about 30, 40 tackles in that one game. I'm like, man, this dude from Newport News is doing this thing out there against HU. But when you sit here, and we read that, the segment in store in your book when you talk about that experience, but there was a coach you had, Coach Bolton, I believe it was, that you speak very highly of. And there was another quote in your book. It said, good people inspire themselves, but great people inspires others.
Yeah.
Who are some of those people that have inspired you, such as a Coach Bolton? And can you kind of speak to how that has played such a big part in looking up to people, the right people, in regards to you getting to where you are today?
Yeah, I would say it's a number of people. Just started, under in my household, my mom, my dad, my brother, them just looking how they walk in life and just want to follow them. And then obviously we have coaches, counselors. I would say, Coach Rod, Coach AC Cawthorn they were very, very big and instrumental as far as me growing up. Miss Lee. She was a teacher at Denby, and I go, yeah. And then I go to Howard and I meet Coach Bolton, man. And Coach Bolton's from Norfolk, Virginia. Well, he's from Petersburg, Virginia. He played in the league, and he was just from the start. He was more than a coach. At that time, he was just like another father figure. And then just the things that he kind of just talked about, on and off the field, and the experiences that he had. So. Having great people in your corner, that kind of help build your character. And it tells a lot about yourself, just looking around you and see what type of people that you have in your circle. So that's one thing that I talk about in the book, is just having good people in your corner. Just not, yes men or whatever the case may be, people who can really tell you when you're wrong, tell you when you're right. If you need to cry, you got a shoulder to cry on or whatever the case may be. But as you mentioned, man, having great people in my life has helped me get to the point where I'm at today.
Yeah, absolutely. Having great people in your corner, that's one of the 7 rules that Antoine wrote about in the book, along with no excuses, no explanations. I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't have this book, your kids should read this book. If your kid is in high school, look at that. Need to go get the book. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm not just promoting that because my man is on the show. But go ahead, talk about it.
I was say, and we talk a lot about what Antoine has done over the course of his career, and being a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, which is big. That goes to the individual on each respective NFL team who does the most genuine community service. And he's been a nominee for several teams he's been on. But one of the things I can always say, he was able to give a leadership group here in Newport News a copy of his books. And the young men, man, they fell in love with the book. They wrote letters about the book. And like I said, man, it's a powerful book.
No, I appreciate that.
For one, I love the hip hop quotes. How you use that to push the story along. I'm a hip hop head, 100%. And to me, that's the music to the movement. And so anything we doing, there is a song that can explain the situation.
For sure.
Yeah, sure. And you talk about people that's close around you. It start, of course, with the foundation of your family, and I know Lex is your big bro, man, and Lex is a man of few words, but always been a positive brother since I known him. And I know he went through some things too that pushed and changed you. If you want to talk about that, that was something that many of us didn't know about. We didn't know that actually happened. But talk about it.
Man. It was another one of them scary times. Again, as a youngster, Big Bro was that's who I looked up to. Like was Big Bro. Like whatever he did as far as football, basketball, dressing. Whatever it was, man. So he was and still is somebody I look up to and hold close to my heart. But it was just one of them situations. He went off to Delaware State, come back home on Thanksgiving break, and go out with the fellas. One of something that we all do. Go out with the fellas, and got that phone call early in the morning. And at the time, they would call, play jokes on Mom Dukes, like whatever the case may be. But it was a serious call where Lex been shot. So no mother wants that phone call. Right. And but it was just one of them things, like leading up to the hospital. My dad having flashbacks of getting that call of his older brother, rushing to the hospital.
How old were you then?
Just and happened within within a year of my uncle getting killed. So I was like 10, 11 years old. So again, getting that phone call and rushing to the hospital, but obviously, trying to want to get to the hospital and find out, big bro, is he doing good? But you get this is the instance where it's like, what, like, damn, like my big bro could be gone, where you get we get into a room, you had a chaplain come to the room saying that he didn't make it. It's like, wow, like, just crushed, you know what I'm saying? And you seeing your mom crying, your pops crying, and it's like, yo, like, I just seen my brother, you know what I'm saying? And having one of them situations and then have somebody come in and say, sorry, we have the wrong guy. Your son is going into surgery right now. It's like, yo, how can you make that mistake? You know what I'm saying? But just for those 3 minutes, man, it was like my world is gone. You know what I'm saying? My big bro is gone. You know what I'm saying? But he made a full recovery, man, and but just that, just those that from the phone call to the chaplain coming into the room, man, it was crazy.
Yeah. And these are all turning points, man. And you didn't let the dream killers stop you. Your family going through these things so early in your life made you stronger. And it gets to a point where you need to believe that you can make it. What was that point with you where you really believed that you can make it to the league?
I would say when I really believed, it was my junior year. It was my junior year at Howard. I was playing well. I had a good sophomore year. My junior year, I was doing well. I had my guy Ron Bartell. He had transferred from Central Michigan. He was a senior at the time, and the scouts was coming in to look at him. He was, considered a high draft pick, and the scouts were coming in and looking at his film, and after every scout would leave, my coach Bolton would call me in the office and said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Every time the scouts leave this room, they ask who's number 2. So he was like, you're on the right path, just keep doing what you're doing. And that kind of clicked in my mind, was like, I can make it. And then that year, my guy Ron Bartell, he got drafted in the 2nd round to the St. Louis Rams. So that's when it kind of like, he got real for me. Like, this is the guy that I
see your man on the team.
My man on the team. Yeah. So
yeah.
That's when it kind of really clicked. Like, man, this is a real chance, a real opportunity for you to go to the next level.
I tell everybody, like, when I was a senior, Iverson was a 10th grader, and, nobody had made it out of this area really, other than Alonzo Mourning, JRE, big guys in basketball who had made it to the pros. So, and I remember going to Georgetown basketball camp, and they telling me up there, no guards come out of the Tidewater area. And then a few years later, Chuck goes to Georgetown, and then he goes to the league. And when he went to the league, and then he not only went to the league, but went number 1.
Right.
That's when the belief for me changed that, it was possible. It was that possible. And now I think, like what happens when we do see that, the same way you saw your teammate when he went, it gave you that little bit of added inspiration to say, yeah, I definitely can make it, because I was right here next to him lined up on the field. So I know we can make it. When we see people from our area do things like that, that example feeds the young kids, the next generation, because they know it's that close.
No, for sure.
And that's why we need to see y'all faces. We need to know what you're doing. I know it's been a stigma a lot of times for a lot of pros who do give back in the community to not really want to step up and say, hey, I'm doing this, because the intentions may look like they're not genuine. But to me, I fight against that, because I say, nah, we need to see more of that, because we already see the other side.
Right.
But it's not all the time that we get to see the side, that the give back side, really the community side, the development side, all of the time, the energy you putting into your college tours. Want to talk about the college tour program and why you doing that?
I want to comment on what you just said, though, because I kind of battle with that a lot, where, if I'm doing something in the community and somebody asks me like, well, you want the news to come out here, you want to put it in the paper, and I'm like, nah, like for me, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe, like you just said, I do feel as though, like the people in the community, sometimes they need to see it, because I feel, and I know this because I know it's a lot of people in the community that wants to help. You know what I'm saying? They want to help, but either one, they don't know how to. Two, they don't know who to talk to.
Yeah.
So I feel as though a lot of times when you know, when one of us or somebody in the community, when we are giving back, it kind of gives them an outlet, like, look, to reach out and say, look, this is what I want to do. Maybe I can help you, or whatever the case may be. So again, man, I do agree with you on that, as far as, you know, the players or anybody, you know what I mean, in the community getting out there and just doing what they do. But again, with the college tours, man, my B2, of course, man, tip my hat off to you, because I feel as though without you, man, you know, a lot of these past couple of years, I couldn't have gotten it done. But obviously, you know, just want to give the students in Newport News, man, a vision of what's outside of Newport News. A lot of times you get kids that don't leave Newport News.
Never. That's true.
So they don't see what's the opportunities that's outside of their everyday world. So, you know, that's basically where the college tours came from. Let them experience, like, it's another world out there. It's another world out there that I promise you will love, you will enjoy. So, you know, just take students from the Newport News high schools, public schools, high schools, and just let them see what's on the other side.
And the thing about, see, Antoine, he's a real humble dude, so he's not going to tell you but so much. But not only does he do the college tours, the past 2 years, he's given out $5,000 scholarships to the kids, man. And this year it was a little different with, you know, the challenges that we've had. But that money goes a long way with helping those kids, man, who's struggling to an extent financially. And he does a good job with the foundation and being able to identify some students that would meet the criteria. You just don't, you know, there's certain criteria that kids have to meet the requirements of. And he does that. Did it last year, did it again this year. And those kids it's been real impactful for those young people. So, and a lot of those kids that have been able to get those scholarships, they've been inspired by the college field trips that they've been able to attend. So, not to say it's a requirement they go on a college field trip, but it just so happened some of those kids who've been able to be recipients of it went on those college tours.
I mean, that exposure is what it's all about. You know, you got to be able to feel it and see it. You know, I didn't understand that when I was younger. You know, I didn't come from a family of graduates, you know, that were able to come back and, well, it was a few, but not enough that will come back and share the experiences of this is what happened with me in college. You know, so if you didn't see it on the Cosby Show, you know, a different world. He didn't really understand what it was all about. You know, you know, that was my biggest understanding from watching School Days.
And to an extent, I mean, it all kind of, you know, academics, athletics, how, you know, it goes together. You made another statement. You made some powerful statements in the book, and one of the ones that kind of is the thesis of the book, when you said, "I encourage people every day to take the slights personally, and take those slights personally." Not only that, you know, you say, when I say take slights personally, I mean that you use those doubts to fuel your work. And that came to mind when I thought about those kids, because some of those kids that received the scholarships, they didn't know if they were going to be able to go to college financially. But they kept taking the slights. Yeah, you don't have enough money. Yeah, your SAT might not be where it needs to be. You can't get into a certain school, but they kept working. Got to their senior year, and they had an opportunity that presented itself to get a scholarship. They had an opportunity to present itself to take a college tour, and those are some of the resources that you help provide. Can you just speak for a couple of minutes about the slights that you had and what you overcome, and how that's sparked you to give back to the kids you give back to today in the community?
Yeah. Again, just, you know, as far as like the story with the scout coming in, just telling me what I wouldn't be able to do. Just go back to high school, and, you know, my senior year, you know, you see guys that you're playing against getting, you know, full rides to these big schools, and, you know, me not really getting any letters, and just growing up, you know, just really just being overlooked. And again, that's where the title of the book come from, just, inside the ultimate underdog. But again, taking those slights and using them in a positive way, using them, like I said, just to push you forward, to put your best foot forward, and not using them and holding grudges. A lot of times, somebody might do you dirty, and you turn your face up, and it's 15 years down the line, and you still talking about, oh, well, you did this. Like, okay, cool, you did that. I'm gonna remember it, but I'm gonna use that to push me and to elevate me to another place, man. So
yeah, like that.
So again, man, I just try to use those and
like that 40-yard dash.
Say it again.
Like that 40-yard dash.
He froze up a little bit.
That 40-yard dash that you were able to show.
Yeah, that's
the scout who came in and tried to say that you were too slow. And 40-yard dash ran the fastest you ever ran.
Yeah, that was a powerful moment in your book when you said that. You remember from the time you were sitting down in the office, and mind you, this is a scout that goes all over the nation and meets with different possible recruits. And you looked up in the stands and you saw him sitting there, and you said did something to you where you went out there, you didn't sulk, you didn't get mad, you just went out there and pushed yourself and ended up running. I didn't know you ran a 4.3. I know you were fast, but I didn't know 4.3 is fast. So that was that motivation that was once again exemplified by using those slights against you and putting that energy into a position where it's gonna make you do even better.
Nah, for sure.
Yep. So when you were on the draft board and you slipped down to the 6th round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you finally got that call from Dungy and you trying to walk out the house and talk to Dungy, what that feel like, man?
Man, that was another feeling out of this world, man. It was because again, during the first day, I had some ups and downs or whatever the case may be, but to finally get that phone call and then to finally get a phone call from Coach Dungy, you know what I'm saying? A great organization. It was like that's all I wanted. And at that time, all I wanted was the opportunity. And again, man, to get that phone call, and when I walked out the house to talk to him, and then just to hear my family in the house go crazy when my name did come across the screen, man. It's like that's what all the hard work is for. That's what the hard work is for. So it was an exciting time.
No doubt, man. And like you said, you got with a good organization, a strong organization that had a culture of family and responsibility for your actions right off the top. So you were able to learn from some of the vets that were able to pour into you early to keep you on board. And I know a lot of people don't have it. And you said, that's one of the reasons why you do what you do to this day. Like we talk about the climate of what's going on right now. Let's shift the conversation a little bit. What's happening right now? We know the world is upside down. We're dealing with things coming from every angle. The pandemic. We're talking about social injustice. We're talking about racism. We're talking about a whole multitude of things that are happening, and all of they're going along with all of the dysfunction that we already have in our culture, in our communities. So, at this point, how do you see what you're doing? Where you are in your life, where you are in your career, and what you're doing with your organization, the AB Foundation. What do you think? Is your role in all this happening?
I have to use my platform in a positive light, and it's not, and my goal is not to go out there and change the world, but my goal is to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Make a little difference where maybe I can inspire somebody else who's watching me. Spot a light up under them and say, look, I want to make a difference as well. You know what I'm saying? And having the platform that I have, speaking out for the people who don't have the voice to be heard, that's what I'm all about at this point in time in my life. You know what I'm saying? I have 3 children, I have two young sons. So just imagining, wanting to make a better place for them. You know what I mean? Again, just doing my part, whatever that part is, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if it's giving back to my community, if it's speaking out on social injustice, speaking out on police brutality, whatever it is, man, I just got to do my part And like I said, hopefully I can spark fire to somebody else who's willing and hoping to do the same thing.
No doubt. And
Oh,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, can you talk a little bit? I know you're doing more with the HBCU is a foundation of doing more to recruit and retain the talent to our HBCUs. And can you just speak to a little bit to that organization that's
Yeah.
we had a big news announcement in the sporting world where Howard, your school landed one of the top recruits in the nation.
Yeah, that was big.
We've been
Real
talking
big.
about,
Real big.
You know, our top talent, whether it's academic talent, top athletic talent, looking more so into our HBCU. Can you speak a little bit to the work you're doing with that?
Yeah, man. So I joined a group, man, HBCU Jump. And yep, HBCU Jump, man. And really how that came about, you know, I was on I had a mutual friend. She reached out to me on Twitter, and one of her homeboys got together with like 2 guys, and they wanted to start this movement where, you know, we kind of, like you said, recruit people to come to HBCUs, whether it's academically or athletically. So, you know, I was able to join in with them and just make a push. Now it's like it's a bunch of a lot of HBCU graduates. Some members went to PWIs, but they see again the time that we're at. If we can get our college, you know, athletes, college student athletes, and even high school top tier high school athletes thinking about going to HBCUs,
that changes the game. That changes the game.
It changes the game. So you know, you got a lot of players at PWIs now just speak like they're getting comfortable speaking out what's going on at these PWIs, where you walking into a building where he was a Confederate leader.
Explain that. You said PWI. Explain that.
Yeah, predominantly white institutions.
Okay, there you go.
Predominantly white institutions. So, you know, they have these athletes going into these buildings where there was Confederate leaders or whatever the case may be, owned slaves and things of that nature, where, you know, now, and I'm just kind of, you know, I'm an HBCU grad, so I'm just kind of like pubbing it now. But I mean, you go to a HBCU where you're no longer the minority. It's just one time in your life where you're the majority. You know what I'm saying? It's a family-oriented space, and you know, you walking amongst greatness. You know, you walking amongst history. You know what I mean? Harriet Tubman and things. You know, Frederick Douglass. You know, you walking around on these campuses where people who helped make this America what it is attended as well. So we're just trying to change that narrative again, where, you know, if you go to a HBCU, you can't make it to the next level, which is a lie. We all know scouts, their job is to find the best talent. So wherever you are, they're going to come find it.
And, you know, one key thing that I took out of it when you were talking in the book, too, about something that the culture of HBCUs taught you was they teach you from the gate to give back to the community. They teach you about, yo, you got to work with your people, you know, and this is the message from up front. Now, see, for a lot of people who really didn't understand what an HBCU was and the benefits of it, especially in a moment like this, where we're talking about fighting for equality still, this conversation in 2020 that our forefathers were having from the beginning of time. You know, so we talk about social injustice, and you just happen to be one of the brothers who was a part of the 2016 San Francisco 49ers that had Colin Kaepernick on the team, and the first spark was lit, where, you know, where we're talking about kneeling, and then the narrative was changed and hijacked into about the flag. But, you know, you were part of that team. If you want to talk about how that moment then and what's going on now, the correlation between the two in your mind, because you was a part of it all.
Man, that was huge, man. That was huge. And Colin, man, took it amongst himself, man, and to really spark that movement, as everybody's seen. You know, he took that knee, and the reason why he took that knee, I feel as though, you know, I guess in our community understood and agreed why he took that knee. And like you just said, you know, I think the media and you know, some of the white folks, some of the white people, they kind of took the narrative and switch it over to the flag, which, you know, we all said it wasn't about the flag. You know, it wasn't about the flag. It was about, again, the social injustice, the police brutality and things of that nature. But again, like what I saw with my own eyes, man, it was very powerful. You fast forward 4 years, we're still talking about it, but now I think people are starting to really, I would say people are really starting to realize what he was doing.
To get a comprehension, basically.
Yeah, to get a better comprehension. Like it wasn't about the flag. So again, I think it was definitely a powerful move by Cap. Again, man, I'm glad that now we're still having this conversation, this uncomfortable conversation that needed to be had. And again, I think we start to get some allies to really understand what the Black community is going through.
Are you someone that he may speak to?
Say that again.
Are you someone that he speaks to, or you know that?
I haven't. The last time I spoke with Cap was probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. We never had that
off the field
that type of relationship. Right. But again, you know, if I reached out, I'm pretty sure he'll respond.
No doubt.
That's the dynamics of a football team. You got your offensive side, especially in a professional level. You got your offensive sides, you got your defensive side. So I can kind of see how that can be to an extent. But I just want to say, man, as far as what you are doing, you're doing a great deal in helping uplift and enhance and empower our community with all that you're doing. Not just, I'm glad you do it here at home, but you've been doing it all over the country. You've been doing it in San Francisco. You've been doing it in Arizona. You've been doing it in New York. You are sponsoring families during the holidays, taking them out to Walmart and Target and doing great things and Thanksgiving dinners, man. We watching you from afar, and I'm just glad that you haven't forgot about home.
No doubt.
That's the powerful thing about you, brother, that you make with everything you do for so far and so many, you don't forget about your people, your family here in Newport News. And that's why I commend you. That's why I rock with you so tough, because I know you do it out of a pure heart.
No, and appreciate that.
That's what makes it so impactful with the things you do. Going back to years ago when you used to do the free football camps on the Denby High School football field.
Yeah.
You've touched a whole lot of lives, whether you
we don't take it lightly. We don't take it lightly, man.
No, I appreciate that.
I know we're running out of time here. I know Markeith may have something he's going to wrap up with, but I have to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get your thoughts on this. Is kind of lighten things up a little bit. You wrote in the book that you had tickets to a Jay-Z concert.
I wanted to say something about that too.
I think it was during the inauguration of Barack Obama. Your boy, and I know your boys. So how did they react?
Who are the they? Who are the they? Name names.
When they found out you took your lady and her friends and family instead of them. You got to tell us this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. So it was actually my boys from school. It was
okay. All right.
So I had got 4 tickets. So it was at the time, she's my wife now, but we was dealing in college my junior senior year. We broke it off, but in my mind I was like, man, she's the one. She's the one, so she had moved to New York, she was working, doing her thing. I was in India, I was doing my thing. Inauguration weekend, it was a big weekend in DC. Jay had a concert, so I'm like, yo, that'd be dope. Me and the fellas go to the Jay-Z concert, during the weekend, it would be dope. So it was me, one of my old roommates, Big Cheese, my homeboy Lojo, my man Foots. He had 4 tickets. So we go out. Friday. The concert on a Saturday night. It's Friday. We in the club. We in Club Love. It's crazy in there. We rocking out. And I just happened to see my wife. She walk up, and I'm like, yo, like this is crazy. I go up to her. Give her a hug. So I'm like, yo, my boy's excited for me because, I'm always talking about it. So my boy's excited for me. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, wifey, she's one of the biggest Jay-Z fans in this world. She can, song word for word, every song, she'll recite it. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, to get back in good, I got 3 extra tickets. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I can see how we can work this out. So that that next day, early in the morning, you know, I got in contact with her. I got so she played a little, let me think about it, I hate you back. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew what that was.
Right.
So then, like I said, her oldest sister, and she had a homegirl in town.
Oh, man, we're getting some.
This would even get me even better if I get them some tickets.
Okay, we're everybody back. I lost y'all for a second. It was good. Bad internet. Well, go ahead, keep it rolling.
Yeah, so I said, you know, I got these 2 extra tickets. If I can give it to her sister and her homegirl, I know I really get in good. So I hit my homeboys, I had to give them that news. I'm like, look, fellas, hey, look, I know you know I rock with y'all, but look, man, I gotta go left on this one, man. I gotta get back in good graces, man. And you know, they was hot for a minute, but they understood what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Look, so, that's your queen now. You got a beautiful family.
It's justified now. It's justified.
It's funny though.
It's justified.
It's funny because my guys, they talk about that to this day.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they would.
Hey, I had it in my head and you just snatch it back. Come on, man.
Yeah.
But look, so your first game when you got in the league was with the Giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you play for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's 360 to me. You know, you are where you're supposed to be. Now, is this where you think you're gonna retire out from?
Now, so I'm a free agent now. So I'm no longer with the Giants. So we're gonna see. Okay. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with the league. And you know, I told myself this is gonna be my last season. So if it's no season, man, it's a wrap for me, man. I'm at peace with my career. But hopefully, you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, before we wrap, tell me what's the main thing that you want to do next? You know, like if you had to say, I'm gonna put all my energy into this right now, it's that next thing.
I would say I'm gonna split it in 2. So my philanthropy, man, I definitely want to dive deep into the philanthropy, man. I definitely want to help come back home, man, and do major things for the community. And then the second part of that, you know, just a ultimate entrepreneur. You know, I want to do things, you know, business with the wife. Also help bring my boys along and do business, man. So those 2 things, I would say entrepreneurship and philanthropy. Those are 2 things I'm really going to focus on.
Dope. We didn't even mention District 41 here in come on, man. We got to mention District 41. That's a landmark already. That's the spot. It's nothing but good vibes. Anytime I go there, I've never heard anything but good things about anybody's visit at District 41. If you don't know what District 41 is, that's the bar, the restaurant on Jefferson Avenue near City Center here in the 757. If you haven't been there, you need to check that out. B, you had something to say before we wrap this up?
One of the dopest concepts for a bar restaurant in all across the country, man. The way it highlights all of our local athletes that went on to do great things.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Look, listen, bro, we always talk about if someone makes it pro, will they give back? And you are an example for that, man, and we appreciate that. I feel like you leading the way on that right now, and whatever we can do to help. This platform was put together to identify our leadership, to identify the movement, and then to find a way that we can systematically work together, because this only works to really move the needle through unity in what we're doing, but it's partnership without giving up power. That's how we all looking at it. You know, we're not trying to take away from what anyone is doing or run what anyone is doing. What we want to do is highlight what you're doing, find out what's working, what's not working, pour fuel on the fire, galvanize the community, and really do this for us. You know, that's what it's all about, man. So, we here for you. Community Warriors Network, you are one.
I appreciate that, and y'all already know I'm be calling y'all soon, because like you said, man, it's gonna take more than just one person, man, and hopefully we can get a band of brothers to come together and make change, man. So,
hopefully, man, we doing it. We're gonna do it.
Best believe I'm come hollering at y'all for real.
Most definitely, man. We appreciate you.
Love you, brother. Forever.
Yeah, love you back, man. Hey, listen, you were in the mix with B2 and Markeith.
Yes, sir.
Straight out of VA. Peace.